your warts full of bugs.
Jeez, man. Hi, guys.
Everyone, welcome to Party Banter.
The goal
we
is
we need to make an announcement.
to have more than 5 people on the end.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we're officially live now. I can see our
all right.
Can see our little thing.
Nobody say anything about butt warts now.
Okay.
We're done talking about butt warts.
Yeah, we're done talking about that.
Yeah, we're totally done. It's not like we've already been recording for a couple minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's totally new.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I have an important message from myself, and I would just like to say that, despite the fact that you guys think I hate your stuff, I don't actually. I think it's really good. Just my critiques don't seem to focus on the positive; they just seem to hit the negative. And from my experiences, that's how crits are. They don't come in and say all kinds of nice, fluffy, stuffy stuff. They just come in and like fix, go, like that. So if you guys were left like, God, Jeff is like really mean and has all kinds of negative things to say, well, yeah, you're right. But at the same time, it's not that I hate your stuff. It's just, I'm not going to be all fluffy bunny. Okay. So I leave that to Owen because bald people are nice.
What? Am I super nice?
Okay.
If I'm too nice, just let me know, guys. All right.
Yeah, we'll let you know.
I'll never say a nice thing again. I'll out.
I doubt that. All right.
Jeez. All right. Are we ready to do it?
It's 9:08 now. We've been recording for the past 8 minutes.
I think we started the stream at like 9:05.
Oh darn! It's 9:08 now. We've been recording for 4 minutes. 3 minutes.
Like 3.
All
minutes.
We've heard is
hey, my math is better lately. Okay.
This is why you're an art professor.
So
yes.
Brutal, man.
It looks like we've been able to keep like almost everyone on from the last crit.
Wow.
Which I did not expect that after Jeff was so mean to them.
Yeah. Like crying to me like, Avery, is it true what he said?
Yeah, usually when
I'm so proud of you.
That mean they don't come back.
Yeah, congratulations to everyone. I think this is the best like second crit showing that we've ever had.
I think
the fall off is pretty intense usually. This is pretty good.
We have not had a lot of fall off. Okay, so let's just get straight into it because
that's what
we're gonna try and keep it to 2 hours this time.
What?
We're gonna try and keep it to 2 hours.
We're gonna try and keep it 2 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing, another important message from Jeff Jackson is I'm sorry I bailed out on you guys last time, but my kids all said that I was being too loud and I woke them up, and so I had to run off the computer and so I'm sorry I left you guys all in the lurch. Okay, all right, good. That said, Jack wants us to get started.
Let's go.
It is now 9:09. We've been recording for 4 minutes.
Yeah.
High quality.
Yes, this is
performance grade material.
This is your high definition party banter stream.
Yeah. Should we all announce ourselves or something? Or
why don't you the professors introduce yourselves?
Okay, hi, my name is Owen Aurelio. I'm about 4.5 feet tall. And I like to paint and shit.
My name is Jeff Fauntleroy Jackson. I don't know, man. Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Stacy, you there?
First years are gonna get so confused.
Just remember Fauntleroy
this is
Jackson.
Stacy, and I'm getting really annoyed that my 2 other instructors are just talking so much.
I'm really confused what's going on here. I'm hearing a lot of echo, so I'm not sure who's talking.
Actually, okay. I love you. All right. Let's see. We're looking at Team 1. I'm just going to jump right into it. Okay. Team 1.
Follow me, do me too.
Yeah, there you go. He's 44. I don't know if he looks 44, but wow. Watch out. I think the posing is better. I like your posing on this one. I don't have much to say. It looks this is good. I like where you're going with it. I
Go ahead.
kind of want you to. I want you to. I don't know. I still want you to push that character design a little tiny bit, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Trigger happy. These are weird things. I don't know. Always rolls ones. Neutral freaky. Where did everybody go?
Right here.
Oh, okay.
I think. Hey, leads. Can you guys give us, or Dara and Avery? Can you guys give us any idea about what you guys focused on? I think you said that you focused on turnarounds this week. Is there anything else that we should be thinking about?
Yeah, pretty much we told them to kind of incorporate what they were critted on last week and kind of push their character design more towards finish.
Okay. Oh, good.
They don't have to have a finished character sheet. It can be like sketches and color explorations. But yeah, we're just pushing the character, kind of pulling from your guys' crits.
So
Okay.
I have just a question. So I'm not seeing turnarounds. I'm just seeing lineups and stuff. Is that because I'm just seeing some character poses and I'm seeing more exploration and that kind of stuff, but I'm not actually seeing turnarounds and stuff. Is that because do you mean that we're doing lineups, that you're showing lineups now?
Yeah, so we're showing the lineups and height charts of the whole team together. We're not doing turnarounds of each individual characters.
Okay.
We're doing the design exploration. So basically, whatever silhouette you guys thought was good, like they would improve upon with the crits, and then like further the exploration of the design and like flesh it out. Yeah.
Okay. So from this, they will be picking one or helping them pick one, I assume. And then from that, they'll be moving to finish, right?
Yeah.
And
yes.
then getting something really good, guys. I like the first step, and I like that you guys are moving towards finish. And then, whether or not what we think of it works or jives, that you guys are going to come away with something finished and have a nice character sheet, and that's great. So I think for this one, as far as for me. What I'm getting from the story, the only one that feels like maybe 44 to me, and I know monk, so like in the middle age, but also still really capable and monkish, is probably the one on the left. And I don't know how much leeway you guys get with color, and ladies, you can correct me, but I would almost like to see like a complementary color or something like an accent color pop in, like a blue or something. In the middle, there's like a teal hanging off of his like long cigarette, and if you get that color into the one on the left, I think that it would be really nice. Again, with that kind of African design language, there's so much incredible stuff out there. Like you might pull an awesome headdress or one other piece of gear that's something that we wouldn't expect. And then my vote is for the third. I mean, it's for the one on the left, the number one. Oh my God, you guys didn't number them. Shame.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God, we told you to number them.
So the one on the left, and I'd pop in that accent color. And get that working for you. That one is the one that I would choose. Go for it, guys. Bye.
I think I already went, sort of. So go ahead, Stacy.
I think I'm trying to understand, what we're trying to crit this round. So the palettes has already been set, right? Because I see.
Yes, so we
okay.
actually rolled a palette, but we did we told people that they can like take liberties with changing the values and stuff, or adding different colors to add more contrast.
Okay, got it.
The palettes.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, the important thing, and I think that Owen really brought it up nicely, is that the palette is a starter, but it's not necessarily the only colors you're allowed to use. You can elaborate on it, change it up. That's just like the general idea that we want you to take inspiration from.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really important, guys. It's I mean, I'm looking at a lot of these, and it's it doesn't feel like it's taking it as far as it needs to go. That the color's going to pop more even if it has a tiny little drop of like an opposite or something. It's just going to push those color values up a little bit. So unless he's going to be in a completely green environment or near an ocean where it's a blue environment or something like that. It's going to really blend in. These are really neutral colors, and so I agree. If there's, and not just in the shadows, but if there was something that could like run through the costume or the I don't forget what that's called, but I'm going to call it a poncho. If there was something in there that would push those color values by having an opposite in there or something like that. I think Owen nailed it with that little blue. I'm not quite sure what that is. It looks like, to me, it looks like a hot dog on a stick with a little bit of saliva or something.
That's the sapphire hanging off of his cigarette holder.
Okay.
So the hot dog on a stick with the saliva on it is it is standing out, but I think it could be just a little bit larger or another direction. I'm not another direction, but another place somewhere, maybe a little bit larger or something. God, I want to see I don't know how many small-bodied, small, thin-legged, huge-armed characters I've seen, and oh my gosh, I really wish there was something else to this, but that's just my opinion on this one.
I think I'll have to agree. If I have to pick one, I'll pick the one on the left. It just feels like the strongest out of three of them. Though I think they look very similar. Add more contrast. So I think it's like what Jeff and Owen say. The values, play with the values a little bit more. I agree that maybe you can try an accent color. I think you can just take the left one and flesh it out for your final. Because I'm just looking at the description and then I look at which one fits the best for that character description. So yeah, the one on the left.
All right, so it's
okay. So
on
to the next one is Gwyther. Say it, Owen. You're better.
Gwyther. All right.
Yeah, it's 965. I know you're gonna say, but there's like that one picture of that one guy who's like 65 who works out and he looks awesome. Think of the general all those 65 years out there. I don't know. This guy looks like he's 20, and I like all the poses. I love I really like the one that middle one. It's too bad it's not numbered though. But I like that one in the middle where he's like throwing up or puking or vomiting or whatever he's doing. I like the activity of these drawings. But I'm not quite sure if it reads as the age that's in there, and also why do they have green flats on? It's like they went over to Goodwill or something, and they oh look, I found these great green flats for like $1.
They're like kung fu shoes, man.
Surely we could provide some other kind of shoe wear than like green flats from Goodwill, but that I don't know. That's my opinion.
All right. Stacy, you want
me to go first?
If you like, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Because so this is a monk, right? So I'm looking at the costume. I guess you're trying to the tiefling monk. I'm looking it up right now. Like, what does that mean? Okay, so then I get it. Your costume actually, I actually like it quite a lot because you're trying to design to that character and you follow that palette, that's been generated. I like the faces, the expression, the mouth because it's cursed that, that he can't speak. So I think it's working pretty well for me, this one, actually. The only thing would be the age. If it's 65, then, this character is looking like way too young. But other than that, I think everything looks like it's on the right track for me. Yeah.
All right, and super quick, I'll interject. I love the faces at the top. and I really like that this person went and tried to get the story poses in. So the first two, I think that you guys are trying to go for the story poses so far. I'm gonna cross my fingers that is a trend that keeps going. I like the one on the left, but I'm a little afraid that it doesn't show the entire body of the monk. So if I had to pick one right now, I'd go for the one on the left, because the one on the right is not dynamic enough, and the one in the middle, I love the action, but I'm not seeing enough of kind of the person. So I guess the one on the left, and I don't understand if they're laying down or if they're standing up. It's one thing to think about. And as far as age, it's way too angular in the jaw and in the nose and in the neck, and there's just no fat. So if you want to pop in age right off the bat, then you're going to soften the features up a little bit. I love the stitched mouth. Really draw focus to the stitched mouth. That's really cool stuff. Okay, there you go. That's my thought. Have a good one, guys. Nice job. And I'm wearing my green flats. I'm standing in solidarity with you.
Oh, okay. Well, they'll go well with your butt warts. All right, so we got Kara Nibhonupudi.
So, Avery, with this next one, could you zoom in on the, or I guess it's Dar who's streaming. Could you zoom in on the Google Drive so it's just a little bit bigger on the stream?
You should be able just to zoom in on your own.
Yeah. No. But the stream, the thing is that the stream is outputting one video, and the image is really small inside the video. So we want it bigger.
Okay. Come on, Dar.
Yeah, just press the little plus down there. Okay, Avery's doing that. Oh my goodness! So we're moving through 3 different computers right now.
We're living in 3020. Excuse me.
This is too much,
my friends. 2020.
Okay.
You guys are kicking
good.
ass, man. You guys are doing a great job. You guys are doing a great job. 3 computers or not.
Muy bien.
I'll go ahead and say a couple things really fast. I know we begged for age in the past, and I think that this character is getting age. I feel for the first time like I'm looking at someone who's 61 or could be 61. I think that foot needs work. So the go and look at what other artists did when they drew or depicted or painted people in motion. Jonathan Singer Sargent has a Ovure famous defining painting. I think it's called El Jalepo, but I could be wrong, of a woman dancing. See how other artists chose to freeze their subjects when you're looking for reference for making something like dancing or motion. We need reference for poses the same way we need reference for closes, in the same way that we need reference for everything. So I think you're on the right track. Get good reference for that pose. I still think you can keep the arms stretched. I think you can keep. Well, Jeff is really good at this. I should let Jeff speak to posing because he's much better than me. But I think you're on the right track. But I think that you need to get reference. Get better reference for the pose. Jeff, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to volunteer you.
What? No, that's fine. I appreciate the honor of being referenced. You have a body, right, person? I mean, you have 2 hands that are attached to 2 arms that are attached to shoulders that are attached to your body. They have these really cool things called cameras, and guess what? Every cell phone has one now. And all you have to do, even if you don't have any friends like me, you can just like set it up. They have these really cool things that are really old. They're called books, and if you just set your cell phone
oh my god, so brutal
on those books, then you could actually take a picture of yourself. It's crazy, I know. But on those people who are blessed with having friends and stuff, you could just say, hey, could you take this pose real quick? And if they're shrunken headmen, they will say, why, yes. But if they're just normal roommates, they'll go, what the hell? So I would highly recommend you getting reference. It's again, Bunny used to always say is like the best drawing in the world can be ruined by bad anatomy or something to that extent. And so definitely again, we have this, I'm not quite sure if I'm looking at her back and her arm is coming out of her back, or if I'm where her shoulder is and that kind of stuff. So I mean, I really like the idea of this pose. It looks like, there's a lot of joy that's happening. It's like she's enjoying herself. on the one that's not numbered, but the largest one on the page with the most detail. But like her leg, where's her leg coming from? Does she even have a pelvis? It's hard to tell. So I would really like to see some more anatomy on that. As far as the other drawings that are in here, these are all frontals, and I think it's really bad to design into frontals. Now I'm looking down at the bottom of the page, and these are actually labeled. There's an F and a C and a D and an E and a G, and F and G are there's a lot of activity. Look how much motion there is in those drawings. But then the ones you've chosen to expand on are just frontals. They're like T poses, and those are great for modelers. They're terrible for animators. And so I really recommend you go get some really solid reference. You don't have to learn anatomy right away, but if you have your reference, you can kind of cheat and hide in there. And I think that's going to make these poses better. I agree with Owen as well. I know this is taking way longer than a minute because my timer's already gone off. But I agree with Owen. This really does feel like an older woman, and I like that she's round and has curves, and she looks like an old lady. Just get some anatomy. At least pretend that there's some anatomy in there, that there's something holding her up. All right.
Okay, I think I agree with the anatomy references. I'm looking at the first sketch. I have a good feeling about this, but obviously not sure. That the arms looking weird the other way. So that's one thing. Second thing is because we are also talking about character design. So I really want to focus on the design part right now. Always remember it has to be readable. So if I scroll down, look at the last page or the second page, a lot of things are just too, not readable at this point. But as you guys are talking, and I, look a little bit deeper, I've started reading the handwriting, and then I see, oh, actually, this person has put a lot of thoughts into it. Like, the leaf magical, the fanny pack with herbal, is that remedies. So, I mean, but then not many people, would spend so much time to read through your stuff. We only have like less than a minute. So if they look at this, don't get it, and then, it's gonna move on. So make sure your thing, your sketches, your drawings are readable, within the first few seconds. Second thing is, make sure you know what you're putting there and why they're there. So the clothing, what kind of clothing is that? What kind of pattern? Why? The headdress is what kind of hat? I think this round is the round that so last week you gather a whole bunch of general references, and then this round, usually we do a lot of call outs. Is you don't have to paint or draw every single thing. You can use your photos as call outs. So maybe you find something that, oh, really like this materials, this pattern. You can just put it there and just point it out. Okay, it should be like this. Maybe the hat is like that. Maybe the shoes are like that. So that's something that you can use to they're like information to tell your audience what you're trying to design. So yeah, that's it for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll move on to the next one now. And we're looking at the based on a rodent, size small, travels alone, is horrifying, has too many limbs, and it came from land. I'm looking at these two images, and I really like that he can shoot his needles, even though porcupines and all kinds of other stuff, they always think they can shoot their needles, but they actually can't. But I like that he can shoot his needles. I like this person like flinching and, oh my gosh, needles. I like that it hides around sea urchins, and it kind of like attacks people because it's a sea urchin. So that's pretty cool. I want you to push. I know you're trying to go for cartoony and stuff, but if you've ever seen Kim Possible, which was a Disney animated TV series that came out in the 90s, there's a little naked mole rat, and unfortunately, this guy looks a lot like the naked mole rat, just a punk rocker version. So, I kind of wanted you to push that character a little tiny bit. come on, guys. I really want you. This is your opportunity to go and do something that says that you own, right? And I don't. So far, I'm not seeing. From my point of view, I'm enjoying looking at this stuff, but it doesn't feel like it's like you own it yet. It feels like you're just borrowing from other sources, and which is good, I guess, as a student. But when you're trying to show product, to me, it really feels like what's going to make this person stand out above anybody else. Oh, they're really owning this. This is their own concept, their own design, and so those are my thoughts. Other than that, I like the concept and stuff, and I'm way over a minute. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Sweet, man. I like the pose where it is shooting the spikes better. And I think if you're gonna go for a standard pose, you're gonna go for one pose that you render. I think you should go for one that is informative and exciting at the same time. On top, I think it's just informative. It's not exciting. On the bottom, I think that it's much more exciting and informative. So I would choose that one if I was going to draw over it, make it look really tight, and then render one. That would be the one that I would work on. Then you can leave the other drawings as kind of developments and showing off what it's doing. I think Jeff is right. In general, in terms of design, I think that you can push the shit out of it. Like, why make it look just like a mole? It can look like a mole to start with, but I mean, it could be so much more. And I think you've got another week. I think you should do something just wild and crazy, so that when we look at it next week, we say, "Man, this is an awesome painting. Can you please reduce the tusks? Like, why doesn't this thing have tusks? Give it tusks or give it horns that are twice as big as its body. I don't know. Push it, make it go nuts." Like, I believe in that push. And as far as the design is concerned, I think it's a porcupine with extra legs and a mohawk. And I think you can definitely move that design language a little further. Just don't worry about it being right or wrong. Just push it. Just push it. Do something weird and really crazy. Yep. There you go. Thanks.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of room to go much further than this. I look at this, it feels like it's some sketches, like really simple sketches of maybe a porcupine with more legs. I'm not really sure what I'm looking at, especially the second page. It looks fun. Like, this is something like, oh, really fun sketches. But again, remember, if your goal is to design a character, then focus on the design, the thinking behind it and why it's like that. So if you focus on that, then you will, put more thoughts into like, okay, maybe I wanted to, do a certain thing, and that's why it has to look a certain way, instead of just randomly just sketching something. So I think put more thoughts into why it looks a certain way. The anatomy is looking right, and I also feel like it's a little bit too cartoony right now. Go a little bit more, not like super photoreal, but when you're first starting, go a little bit more realistic, and then later on you can go more stylized. So, yeah, that's it.
Oh, cool lineup, guys. Nice job.
Okay.
It looks like there might be one or two in this lineup that we didn't see.
Yeah. Yes. Agreed. I think those are in the other team, though. I think there's some.
Oh, okay. Cool.
They're in another team.
But
okay.
We haven't seen all of the ones from this team yet.
Oh, are people?
They're a little bit out of order.
Oh, they're just out of order. Okay.
That's fine.
Right.
That's fine. I don't have much to say about the lineup. I think it's a little too early to do lineups, but I like that you're doing it.
They're thinking.
Yeah. I like your thought process and that kind of stuff. So yeah. Okay. Not much to say about that.
Polisena Comans. Dude, all of you guys that are on like team whatever 2, 3, 4, 5 and whatever, put little labels, put little letters or numbers on them. You guys are crazy. Okay, so the one on the top,
making us crazy is what you
top row far right. It's good for a supporting drawing. I would walk away from that and never touch it again. Personally, I think the winner for me, I think these are kind of nice. Okay, so check it out. If you're gonna go cartoony and stylized, why? What are you getting from it that you don't benefit from going photorealistic or realistic? So if you're going to do something like that, I think that you should continue to push the exaggeration. So like this backpack full of carrots, man, I want those carrots to be spilling out impossibly and really weighing the back down, not just because it's a big box of carrots, because the carrots are big and we're getting energy from the carrots, like spirit fingers from the carrots. Like I push that shit like crazy, man. Like carrots falling out, carrots on the ground, carrots piled on top, an impossible thing. And then you also get to push shape language and playing around with shapes. For me, I would pick bottom right or top middle, and bottom left is okay also. So I have a tough time. I appreciate you doing so many and getting into story poses. Thanks.
Oh, you want to go?
No, go, Stacy, please.
Okay. I appreciate that we have more options on this page. I think on the second round, it's still time to, we narrow down from the first round, but we still want to see a little more variation. So this is good. You don't want to just pick one and then just take it all the way to the finish line. So still a little more exploration at this point. So when I look at this top middle one stands out to me because when I look at the description, that fits the description. But again, also back to that stylized thing, a little bit. It's time to really tighten it up a little bit more. There's definitely can be tightened up more. But I would pick the top middle.
Yeah, I kind of like the top middle as well. I think there's still some room to go. I really want to see some weight in there. I think Owen's right. I think we need to have, go out and find a really heavy thing and just lift it with your back and just see how it makes your body arch over and how your neck has to come up to hold your head up and that kind of stuff, and show the strain in there. I like where it's going, but I'm looking at like the top one, which isn't labeled, and the one on the top row and the bottom row on the right. I'm sorry, the one on the left on the top row and the one on the right. See, if it was labeled, we could just say D or A. See, you guys, slap. But it's like, it's interesting, but it doesn't show any weight. There's no weight. How heavy is this basket? It feels like it should be, they're always eating. It feels like it should be really heavy. So, yeah, I think Owen said that he didn't like the one on the right on the top part. I kind of like the attitude of it, but you're right. It is kind of hard to see from a back view. So I think Stacy's right. I think that one in the middle top is heading in the right direction, but it's definitely like it's just on the pier. You haven't got on the boat yet.
Oh, nautical.
Okay.
All right, next.
Stacy, if you're ready, you want to go first, or do you want to go first on the next one?
Yeah. This one. I think I remember the last week the initial sketch for this one, the chapter. I like it a lot. It's just first, your draftsmanship, matters. So even though it's still more stylized that I would like it to be, it's just so readable. Like I get it. I get what you're trying to communicate, and all this little, the face expression, showing how this character shift from the seal to the person, the human, really helps. So again, back to we're talking about character design. It's all about the personality of the character. Of course, you have to understand, anatomy, materials, all these things. But don't forget, it's the design of the character. So I look at this one really has personality. That's the description on the second page. Let me quickly read it. Yeah, I'm liking it a lot. So I think definitely you're heading in the right direction. The last page, what is that draft? What I'm working on. Is that the weapon or okay?
It's a staff, I think.
Yeah.
It's like our walking staff.
Yeah, it's like
a cane.
Dick.
The cane, I see it. Interesting. Yeah, it's cool. I think it's in the right direction. Definitely.
Okay. I agree with Stacy. I think it's a good step. I really like where it's going, but let's read together, friends. Her pelt was stolen by a mariner, and she was coerced into being his wife. She fell into a deep depression, wanting only to return to the sea. Eventually, she had to settle for her new life. What does this tell us? Look at the body posing. Does she look like she's settled? Does it look like she's longing to go to the sea? Does it look like she's depressed? She just looks like she's there. So I want you to, I wanted to, how come she's not looking off into the distance? It's like, oh, I want to go out to sea. I want her to really like feel like when I look at her, I want to immediately read and say, oh man, she's really longing to be something else. And I know that's kind of hard to do, but that's like really pushing the character design. It's like, I like that her head is up, but it feels like it should be up a little bit higher. She should be looking out. She had dreams. She had hopes, and they were all stolen by this mariner who forced her to be his wife. I mean, that's hardcore, right? That's what happened to my wife, and look at where we are. So, but I think that's the thing is like, she feels, it says he wasn't offensive to her at the lighthouse where they lived, and but she often spent days combing the beach. I want her to feel a little bit lost, or like she's in a search. She's searching and that kind of stuff. Other than that, I like how you're using these colors and they complement each other. I think that's kind of fun that she turns into the seal. I want the seal to be a lot bigger, or a lot smaller, one or the other. But I think that's the thing is like and also with this person, I'm way over a minute now, but with this person, it really did a nice job thinking about the cane and that kind of stuff. I'd actually like to see, I wish that cane was a little bent or bowed, kind of like she is. It's like everything has been taken away from her, and I almost feel like she's chained to this place, and it's everything about it is kind of pushed down, and she's also looking out. And then the seal, when she turns into the seal, it's like a completely different thing. It's like the seal shouldn't be arched, it should be more angular, because she's so arched over, and this is the life that she wanted to have, is to be a free seal and swim around and not be chained to this lunatic guy who works in a lighthouse. And so I want to see that transition a little bit more. That's my personal take.
Cool. I've got no choice but to concur with my colleagues here. I really literally agree with what they both said. And I mean, they said everything I was going to say. So I think I remember the last time around, and I really like the intention and the draftsmanship and moving it that far along. So yeah, good work, guys. Keep it up. All right.
Next up, Theocritos Shaw. Whoa.
Oh, I remember this one. So I think on this one we talked about this one was like a glutton and had a lot of stuff, and we wanted to see, or at least I wanted to see the bonds or the shackles on the legs and stuff. And as far as design is concerned, man, I'm really liking the one number 2 on the right. And it's just not even possible for me to pick number 1 when number 2 is here next to it. It's just too dynamic. The silhouette's too intriguing. I'm getting just as much about the character both ways. I'd make sure that I bring all that stuff falling out of the bag into number 2. Like things like apples could be on the ground. Like this guy is such a glutton with so much shit that it's falling on the ground behind him. How cool would that be? You've already got the really oversized bag pulling him down. I like the stomach kind of pushing the weight back in the other direction. The head of the bird, I would probably move in a different direction, so it's not moving with his eyes. You get some counter movement with that. But I think you're onto something with number 2. That's the one I would go with. Just get that stuff falling out even more, more of that opulence and corpulence. Yeah, go for it. Sweet, nice, cool. I like it.
Yeah. Stacy, you want to go?
Yeah. Yeah, I think, I agree with Owen, like it would be more dynamic if you have all these things like falling off the bag, definitely it would add more to your work. I'm looking at, your characters, I mean, they basically are the same in two different poses. So if out of the two, I would pick the one on the right, number 2. One thing is, I feel like there's this focal point can be a little bit stronger. I'm not sure if I should look at the belly or the bird.
That's a good point.
Yeah, they're equally like catching my eye. So pick one, right? So if you want to make the belly, maybe that's your focal point, then push that, or you use the bird tap, then push that. I think at this point, it's just that I want the first read to be something. Look at that, and then second, and then third. But I like it. I think you're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, I agree. Oh my gosh, Stacy, you nailed it. There's like no hierarchy. It feels like there should be some sort of hierarchy. He's wearing a bird on his head. It feels like there should be something about that. It's like how many people you walk into a coffee shop, there's a bird on somebody's head. You're like, oh, I don't need coffee today. So I totally agree with Stacy. I think that's fantastic. For me, as much as I like number 2, it doesn't feel lazy. Look how dynamic that leg is. It's like, hello, ladies and gentlemen, I have a bird on my head and I'm carrying a machete. So, it doesn't feel lazy. It makes him lazy and fat. I mean, I know a lot of lazy fat people. I look in the mirror every day and I see one. So I just feel like, I think that pose is good and it's telling more of a story, but it doesn't feel lazy and fat. He's chained. If you're lazy and you're trying to break your chain, you're like, so I'm not trying to say like to de-emphasize that. It just doesn't feel lazy. Give him, put some weight off to the side. One of the fun things I think Owen, I'm in agreement. I'm over a minute, but I'm in agreement with Owen is like, if that bird on his head was cocked literally cocked slightly in a different direction, it would help to convey that laziness, and he doesn't even take the time to make sure his bird head is adjusted. It just kind of flops over and that kind of stuff. So I agree with everyone. 1 is too straight up and down for me. It doesn't say enough. There's no weight in the bag. There's a lot more weight in number 2. And hey, look at that. They're labeled. On number 2, there's a lot more, it conveys something, but it doesn't convey lazy. Okay. Good.
Interesting, guys. Really quick, while we're switching over, if you're looking for a way to go lazy and energetic or exciting at the same time, look for the bird to be energetic and the guy to be slovenly and lazy. Just as a suggestion. That's my first thought. It's not a right or a wrong. It's just a thought. Like,
good idea.
All right.
What do we got?
Dude, there's hell of them in Team 2, man.
Team 2. Wow. It is almost 10 o'clock and we're only on Team 2. All right.
Well, team 1 really brought it, but like a lot of the other teams have only got 1 or 2 people in them.
Oh, they're a bunch of losers. Okay.
Yeah. Team 1 nailed it, though.
Yeah, why would anyone think that you're tough, man? I don't understand it.
Shut up, Owen, you jerk. Okay.
All right.
Yadberg Radcliffe. Who am I taking this one first?
Yeah, go for it.
Again, there's the reference. I don't think we need to see the reference anymore. I mean, the reference is for you. It looks like, you have these cool eyes and that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's good to see your reference in there. This guy has it's circled red with a scuba tank on it, but there's no scuba tank on that guy. I don't know. So I don't know if it's necessary for us to see your reference in there anymore. I think we're past that point. He's like chocolate mint ice cream guy. I wanted to see, I want him to show me what that little unicycle leg does. Does he pedal it with his other foot? I want to see him balancing on that. That's really important. I mean, why is it there? Why do they have those things? There's how cool would it be to get this guy, his weight, this person, this character, get their weight up on the wheel of that unicycle, and then they're actually having to pedal it and that kind of stuff, and what their body looks like, rather than, right now it just looks like, you had a leg there, but then you just photoshopped it out and you just put in a unicycle. It's like, I want to see how those things intermix. I really want to see how those characters work. I'm seeing that with the other drawing here, but it's with the styling and the color, the values that you've added and stuff, it's kind of getting lost in there. So I want to see a more clear pose like the one on the right, which isn't numbered, but I want to see how his weight sets on that wheel, and how his foot is going to sit on the pedal and that kind of stuff.
I look at this, I just keep thinking like, why? Why is it like this? What's going on here? So I think the way it's being presented, I think we don't need to see okay, head, torso. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I want to see more about why she's like that. The why she's wearing that. If she's blind, how? Because I can't, without reading the description, I should get a pretty clear idea or a feeling what this character is. And it's a bit confusing right now, because if I didn't read the description, which I quickly read it, I wouldn't know, oh, that bag, those are breads, I assume, right? Those are bread, because she, likes to bake. And yeah, and then, oh, she's actually blind, which I'm not sure. It seems like she's just, no eyeball. I don't know what it is, because she's not acting like she's blind. So a lot of these things, I think, it's a little bit too literal. Look at, they try to hit all these things, but without really thinking about, what would this person, this character, the person, be if she's blind and she's doing this? Like, what's she like? So I think if you go a little bit deeper, it would change the way you present her. Maybe change the way, why she's wearing something, make more sense out of it. And then the next step, of course, then how things work, why is she having that wheel and how does that work, all these things. So I think I want to feel a little bit more about this character. There's a very distant from, right now, I really can't feel it. So I think that would be the thing.
Yeah, I mean, what can I even add? I mean, I won't speak to anything that they spoke to. I'll just say that it's impossible to read the way that it is with the background element. So I don't know what it is, and I didn't read the description, and I just have no concept of what's going on. So everything they're saying, and be careful with your pose and bringing in too many scenic elements, because it's making it hard to understand. But yeah, that's all.
Okay.
All right.
I really do want to see this person pedal their own wheel, but you really got to probably make the reference photo yourself to figure out how that's going to work so that it really translates. But I don't want to contradict anything that they said. I'm with them on their rundown.
Okay, the next one, apparently they were sick and stuff. Yeah, whatever.
Censorship.
Yeah. So, is there a reason why it's censored? I don't understand. Your adventure is a 44-year-old androgynous. Do they need to be naked? If they don't need to be naked, then we don't need to have it censored. I don't know. It's I don't know. I think
what Jeff is saying is just draw the clothes, guys.
Yeah. Okay, so I want you to look at all these pictures which aren't labeled. Okay, and I understand you're sick and it's too hard to label stuff when you're sick because it's hard to see because your eyes are full of snot. But
oh my God.
At no point do we see the character wearing the legs. Can't we have the character wearing the legs? I mean, nice presentation and stuff, but like the whole entire point is those legs. That was like the selling point, right? It's like, look, I made this really cool robotic leg thing, and they're going to be kind of lazy in there and stuff like that, and they're leaning against it. And oh, by the way, I forgot to put them in the legs. Anyway, your turn.
Yeah, go ahead, Stacy. No, please, Stacy. Yeah, you take it.
I'm gonna be quick. I don't know what's going on here. Why is she, so is that the right scale that she's actually that small leaning on the mechanical legs? Again, there are a lot of texts, and most people, they won't spend so much time reading every single thing. So I should get a clear sense of what's going on here. So if you look at this Y sensor, why, she's so small, and so I think just make it very clear, for the final, like, for dummies, I look at it, I get a clear sense what this character is all about. That's it.
All right, cool. And super fast, guys. I remember liking this and then asking for different feet because the feet were kind of boof, and I appreciate you putting on the different feet and taking that crit. One thing, I think it's maybe a little too mechanical, and you can look back at pictures of ancient prosthesis. And there's so many weird ancient prostheses from different cultures that would give you much better reference than what you've got. You can tap into that. You did some for an illustration I had to do this week. And like there's just so much incredible stuff out there. So instead of gears and weird stuff, I mean, you can even look at wooden gears from like 6,000-year-old wooden gears from ancient Egypt, and it'll change your design language. I agree, put the person in it. And last, just as a side note, and I say this to all my classes, don't apologize. Don't put a disclaimer at the top. Don't tell us you're sick. Don't do anything like that. You worked as much as you could, put up what you put up, and put your name on it. And if it's not good enough to put your name on it, then just don't put it up at all, right? But don't put up an apology. This is my philosophy. If you're gonna do something and put your name on it, then just do it and put your name on it. And if it's not good enough, don't put your name on it and don't put it up. So be confident. Even if you couldn't do it the way you wanted to, but you're still gonna put it up, be confident. Don't put a gigantic one-page disclaimer on something. Don't put the censored things on there. Just don't put it on there. The problem is when we look at the page, all we see is this big thing that says censored. Just don't even put it on there. Just keep the other pose and leave it. And I'm not trying to sound harsh. I'm trying to help you feel more confident and also manage your time and our time better, right? And this is a my thing. I don't know if my colleagues agree with this kind of stuff.
I absolutely concur.
100% agree.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So I had an instructor who was great. He would sit there, and if somebody came in with like some kind of excuse, he would go, "Oh, do you need a hug?" And he'd go over and he'd about to hug, and he's like, "Not today." And then he would just keep on going. And so I know you feel guilty because you didn't do anything, but it's like we can't tell on this end. So just whatever, just take responsibility for it, and don't sit there and do that stuff. That's, I don't know, it's more distracting. It just feels like you want to get attention or something, to be honest. All right, next team.
Okay. That's hella nice.
All right. This is it.
We got this.
The heroin cat?
Yeah, the what is it? The kangaroo cat?
The heroin cat. I love that we were like, dude, if it's gonna be nasty and gross, just push it, make it super nasty and gross. And now the character's not even standing up anymore. It's just like laying in its own filth, man. Oh, that's good, man.
We're looking at the same thing, right? We're looking at this pink,
the hot pink, sick,
the pink rabbit kangaroo.
The fishnet stuff.
I mean, I think it might have had heroin needles like hanging out of it last time, or we said to do that. I probably said to do that. Right?
I like there's a bunch of mushrooms. It's like a shortcut to mushrooms. All right. She's rarely sober. She's a talented druid, but would prefer to use her talent to get stoned. Does she? So there's again, it feels like a lot of you guys do all this writing, but you guys are treating it like going into figure drawing with your eyes closed. Right? It's like, oh man, I'm gonna have this naked model that's gonna be in front of me, but I'm gonna not draw it. So you guys like write all this stuff down. Yeah, Eddie grows over on product with the magic, but you just like ignore. So like look, he's talented druid, but would rather go. How does it get stoned? I mean, I know maybe this is a little bit more in depth than we need to have, but it feels like it's using its magic to get stoned rather than to like be a cool druid or shoot lightning bolts out of their nipples or something. But so like I want to see that process. Like you guys write all this stuff, but you're just writing stuff. It's like you're hoping somebody else is going to catch it. So like you wrote it. You did it. It's just like your photograph reference. Some of you guys aren't even following your photo reference. So you wouldn't walk into a figure drawing class blindfolded, would you? First of all, you're going to crash into the model and get arrested. So like do that same thing. Here's, I like that it's on the floor and I like that it's stone, but at the same time, I also want to see another one where it's like using its magic powers to conjure mushrooms or to conjure needles or to do that kind of stuff. And
dude, that's great. That's a great way to have story take it farther. Use the magic to conjure up more mushrooms. Like I have a bunch of chewed up, gnarled stumps on the ground, and then in one hand she's like, like making another pile of mushrooms so she can shroom harder, even more. I think that's how you bring story into it. That's good. Jeff, I think that they're putting the writing. I'm just assuming they're putting the writing on these pages because it's there for us. For all of you students, don't put any writing like this on your work in your classes or on your work in your portfolios. You should always show, never tell. I mean, we're visual artists. This is what we do. We show, we don't tell. But I think that they're doing that for our benefit. I like it. I think Jeff's suggestion about having the magic work is work for her. Like she's got an arm that's doing nothing on a stage right arm. That stage right arm can be both of those hands could be conjuring the magic, and the joint can be hanging out of her mouth, and then the smoke can be coming out the side. Right. As far as design, I really want to see that fish in the bottom of those platform shoes. So get reference, and obviously when you go to make the finish, draw better and look at fishnet stockings, for God's sakes. I mean, that'll be fun to reference, and it will also help your picture. But I would go with that one on the right, and then really work that one out and make that one work better, as opposed to the one on the left.
Well, I agree with everything you guys said. Magic is the thing of this character that really show, because if without looking at the text, I look at it, I was just like, oh, this is fun, and pretty much that's it. But what was his character? It doesn't show anything about magic. It's just a whole bunch of mushroom, around her. So make sure you play that up. I want to know. Again, without reading the text, I should have a sense what this character is all about. So yeah, and definitely draw better. Really look at reference. The figures and everything. Yeah.
Dude, the magic could be the smoke coming out of the joint, man. Like, you guys, you can make that work. You can make both of these things work for you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Kara Niphan Nupudi.
Nippon Booty.
Boy, dude, I usually pride myself on being able to read names.
Yeah.
But, dude, some of these are heavy.
Yeah, I just learned to read last week, so obviously by how badly I was reading last week. I used to. I'm just gonna take you down a little trip down memory lane here, in Jeff land. And there was a lady when I was growing up. There was a lady who lived across the street who was named Margaret, who used to wear. I swear, I kid you not. She used to wear a purple windbreaker that looked a lot like this, and she'd be out there in the rain, and she'd be mowing her lawn. And she was like 385 years old. I swear to God, she was like the oldest woman I've ever seen in my life. And she's out there, and she'd have a cigarette, and there would always be like a half inch of ash hanging off the cigarette. And she's mowing her lawn in the rain, and it's like you nailed her. It's like, that's Margaret. And it's like, oh my God, it's Margaret. I almost want to send it to my mom, because my mom even said, like, don't go near Margaret, Jeff, because she might just run you over at the lawnmower. Luckily, it was raining, so I didn't like to go outside. But there it is. I'm really liking the attitude in that one. It does feel like she's older and that kind of stuff. I don't think, like A doesn't seem to have the attitude I wanted to have. But like, I'm really liking. I guess it's B, but it's not the B that's next to the B. It's the B that's on the side of the B. It's too hard to say which one it is, because there's
B front or B back.
The B front, but I don't like the B back because the pants aren't the same. But I'm really liking the attitude on that.
Yeah, I think
the end of Jeff's throwback to history.
Jeff's personal scree. I like B left. I mean B front. And hey, so just next time go A, B, C, D instead of B front and B back. But B is the one for me. And dude, I love the
that rhymes.
I love the I love the satellite on C. So like I'd take B and then put the rake on the bottom and put the satellite on the top and then combine both of those things. And then don't take a pass on the magic. I like the Lisa Frank colors from the 80s, but like really make it happen. This is your chance to do something crazy. It's not just an old half elf lady that's like rocking, but then I think that we're talking about magic on the last one. Apply everything that my colleague said about magic on the last one. Cool.
I know I'm interjecting, and I know Stacy, you're like, shut up, Jeff. I want to see her strap that satellite to her head. I want her to keep that one hand free. Her left hand is free to do magical stuff. And I agree with Owen. It does look like it's like cheap magic, but I want to see it strapped to her head or something.
She could be using the magic to make the rake broom work.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Does she fit a strap on her hand?
Yeah, how awesome would that be?
Mm-hmm.
It's Margaret with the
She just said.
Definitely B. So I can see B is like, because it's the same design, right? It's just different poses. So if I have to choose a pose, definitely the one on the left, which is the front. But as in terms of design, B out of all of the three that's being presented right now. One thing I find, is actually really tricky for the colors, because the palette is just randomly, generated, and sometimes it's actually it's like depends on your luck, right? What kind of palette you got, or correct me if I'm wrong, because if it's so random, but color, there's meaning to colors, there's mood and everything. Sometimes when you get assigned to something so random, it may go against what the character is supposed to be like. So especially for this one, I'm not sure the colors are working, but I also know that this person is also trying to follow the palette. So I think I would tone it down a little bit. The jacket is just like screaming at me, and I'm not really seeing the face and everything. I'm trying to squint my eyes, and everything just got lost. So I think I would keep the overall like design of the characters, but really play with the values for of the colors for the final round.
Oh my gosh, guys, that was a nugget right there. Make sure you write that down. Color has meaning. Okay, write that down. Write it on your forehead.
Stacy, did you write it? I like Stacy's point about, guys, for everybody involved, Stacy's point about color having values, and color is not value, is huge, because you guys might get color palettes that really suck, but through good use of value, the color doesn't even matter anymore. I mean, you can control what's happening with the color with value. And her idea, her thought that it's not reading could be really cleared up with good use of value, even more than just color. And then yes, color does have meaning. So yeah, I just wanted to tack that on. I'm sorry. I hope that didn't bother you guys.
Not at all. It feels a little tacky.
Oh, Jeff, you got this next one, man. It's monster.
Yeah, I hate it. I don't know. I want you to do more. I don't know if that person's ever coming back. I think we scared them off last week or something, because they just took this and threw it back on there. But push it further. It's oh my God, this is how many times have we seen a little monster head with big teeth and that kind of stuff? Let's do something with it. That's all I have to say. It just
I'm on the next crit. Oh shit.
I'm looking at the lineup. The only thing that we have is
just if it's in the lineup and there's not a page, just probably skip it, because like you said, that's just the same thing.
Anyway,
yeah, we're gonna skip those.
Okay, I hate that. Anyway, moving on.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Okay, we're on team 4, right?
Yeah, this is what I was talking about. This is totally anatomy of a female reproductive system.
Oh damn it! I wasn't seeing that. Now that you said it, it's like.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said anything, man.
Wow, I love this presentation though. This is awesome.
It does. It looks a little bit like.
Too bad it's not numbered. Oh, the ones on the bottom are numbered. Oh, okay, there we go.
It's like a little Elizabethan. I think the stuff on
Yeah.
the bottom is taking you to the stuff on top.
Yeah. I'm seeing it. Yeah, that's kind of cool. It's weird. Now I can't not see a uterus. Thanks a lot. Oh, and it's just everything's ruined.
Well, I see the fallopian tubes.
Yeah, there's fallopian tubes. There's a uterus. And vagina's in there. Yeah. Yeah. So well done, person. If that's what your intention was, thanks a lot for sharing that with us. That's cool. I think it's really clever. I like it. It's really hard to see because it's like really, really small. And then you're just doing color variations and stuff. So I almost want to see it bigger. So I move that up bigger. This is really fun. I like it. That's all I have to say.
I'll go next. I think it shows this person put a lot of thought into their work, which I really appreciate, just by the presentation. So that really adds a lot, how much you care about your work. So looking at the design itself, it's a little bit hard to understand, but I think what you need is actually, again, back to that, the focal point. So look at that silhouette, little silhouette in the bottom, left corner, in relationship to the human size. So if you look at, again, everything seems to have equal weight, okay? So push something, chart is the, big shapes, medium shapes, and then small details. I want to see more like that. So right now, it just feels like everything has the same weight. So pick something, that would be your main focus, and then your secondary, and then, the tertiary focus. So I think move on to the next round is something that you may want to push the proportion. Otherwise, looking, yes,
Yeah.
That's an excellent point for the primary, secondary, and tertiary focus. I'll say something totally different then, since they covered all the good bases. As far as your layout goes, on your next one, on your final presentation, for someone like you that's got this figured out, like on your color variations, just pick one that you like and have that the color and the value facilitate your primary, secondary, and tertiary read. Don't give us a page of color variations for the next one. Plus, the colors are just so similar; it's kind of hard to tell the difference. Instead, for your page layout, I want you to declutter. So give us a huge, at least half a page image of this creature, and then on the side you can have your little profile and front and back and your little call outs and your details. But move the call outs away from the piece so that when you squint at the whole image, I want the image to have a primary, secondary, and a tertiary focal point. So that beast should be uncluttered and really easy to access. So like right now, a 1/4 inch away from the monster and 360 degrees is more information. Move that over to the side and give the monster complete area of breathing room. You guys need to think about the entire page layout as its own composition, and think about the entire page layout as an opportunity to continue to think about legibility, right? So that's all I'll say on this one, because it's really hard to read the page, and that goes for everybody when you guys are making your final layouts. Cool.
Good point.
Yep, agreed. All right, next. All right.
Okay.
Am I going first again?
Go ahead. Yeah.
They're gonna get so tired. They just want to hear you, Stacy.
You know what? It's because usually I need time to really process. I think slow compared to that's why.
All right. I really like. Okay, so now we're looking at Monster 2. This creature is an alien parasite. Blah blah blah. Oh my God, we have purple and green together, and it drives me crazy. But apparently Avery just loves that, and she's like, "Fuck you, Jeff. I'm just gonna do everything is purple and green." And
I heard her. She said that literally. I was talking to her, and she's like, "You know what? Jeff can fuck himself." And I was like, "Holy shit, dude, Avery! Why would you say that, Avery?"
Damn, you got me.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with you guys in purple and green and yellow.
Fuck you, Jeff.
Just fuck off. All right. So anyway, on another note, I'm loving this, but I don't like the secondary form. The secondary form feels weak to me in comparison to the base form. and I almost wanted to. Geez, I wanted to do something else. They're almost the same sort of shape, and the language is about the same, and so I wanted to. I don't know. I'm thinking of that little. So in Fantasia 2000, when the wood sprite goes out and she goes into the volcano. There's this movie. It's called Fantasia 2000.
You saw that, huh?
Yeah, I know. It came out in 2000, and none of you guys have seen it because you're all like 14 years old. But it starts out and it just starts with this fire, and then boom, and it blows up into this huge fire demon dragon falcon thing, and it'd be really cool to. I don't like the secondary form, but I think the base form personally is pretty solid. I'm not exactly sure what the fingers are on the side of it. I'd like to have that more specific, but I like the teeth, and I like how the tongues are coming out and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think okay. I'm starting to get it like base form, secondary form, because I thought, again, at first glance they look like they're about the same size, and then I see that the secondary form is actually so much bigger because there's the little silhouette next to it.
Yeah.
The base form. So make sure you present it like more clearly. I agree that I like the base form, not sure about the secondary form because I'm just not sure what it is. Again, without reading it, I can't even tell, a lot of it has tongues. So make sure, even at this stage, it's not final yet. Make sure you show some kind of, what kind of materials is it? Like, if it's tongue, it's slimy, how it's stretched, how it like wraps around. It's different from, your leg. That's something that has the limbs that has, bones, right? So everything needs to have the form. It has to be accurate. So right now, everything feels really just, I don't know what it is, basically. So look at the forms. If you really understand it, you'll look at reference how things should be like. Bow should look like bone, tongue should look like tongue, and it would make your design so much stronger.
Yeah, I agree. I think I think what I'm hearing from both of my colleagues is hard to understand this second form, and I think if you look, I don't know if there's really a problem with it, but I just don't think you're getting enough out of the form. Like Stacy keeps saying, the form. I think like you have an opportunity with all these tentacles to go totally insane with that kind of stuff and really show some motion and movement and help us understand the form by breaking up the silhouette. Right now, it's like the silhouette of a pear and with a weird leaf at the top. Like, let that rip. Like, let those tentacles move around. One, we'll get an idea for how the thing moves. Two, we'll get a better idea for the form. Three, guys, remember, the more that you show us, the more that you're informing and entertaining, right? And that's kind of what you want to keep doing, so that when we take one look really fast back and forth, like, we understand, like, that's the base form. We can see the secondary form in it. It's very clear that the thing is changing, and it's the same volume, and it's, inform and entertain. You got to do both. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Just on another on that, it's like this is another one that wrote a lot and ignored it, right? It's like, wow, tiny and unintimidating. That's the base form. That's pretty intimidating. Look at those teeth and stuff. I would not want that crawling on my shoulder, right? So then it almost feels like you ignore it and you're like, oh, wild, tiny, and unintimidating, and then you came in and you just completely ignored it. So then, like, try one instead that is tiny and unintimidating, and then go with the base form. I was also thinking how cool it would be. I think what you're trying to say are these are tongues that are coming out, and it's supporting the body upward. And I guess maybe another thing we need is like a middle picture, a medial picture, where it would show the tongues actually coming out of the mouth, and then it lifts up. So, all right.
Or you go for the thing like I agree. I'm not going to contradict. I think what's this is reminding me of as you guys are switching over is Captain Marvel. The movie Captain Marvel has like a cat and someone's like, oh, I hate cats, like the whole way through. Oh, Nick Cage, like I hate cats or whatever. And then at the end of the movie, you see the cat.
ladies and
The
gentlemen.
cat like turns into your second form, except dynamic, and then rips his face and stuff. And like, you know, so the primary form can be really sedate and normal and unassuming, and the secondary form can be like, holy shit, everything's going crazy. You know, Marvel did it, so it can't be wrong. All right, have fun.
Okay.
All right, let's see. This is
It's all true.
have fun. Salami. All right. You know, person who did this, I know last week we said to push your gestures and that kind of stuff, and look at that, you're starting to push your gesture down on that on the rendered on the color drawing that you have down there. That's pretty nice to see you're doing that. I think you could still move the right arm that's holding the rope up a little tiny bit and just show a little bit more weight in the body, but I'm liking that. I also like the drawing up at the top that has the cloak or the cape on it. I think those are showing more story than what we saw last week. So I'm pleased to see that happening.
I'm trying to remember last week's. I don't think I can recall. But I think the second page is interesting. You know, how you feature that character, and then there's a prop, the ray gun there. I don't know, there's something about it. It feels pretty happy. It's just a feeling. So yeah, I like it.
Okay.
All right, so I concur. You know, I think I talk a lot about switching over, guys. I think I talk a lot about the idea that ideas are really important. The drawing needs to be there also. I think my colleagues like the ideas. I'm going to be the bad guy and say that you need to get the drawing up to par also. I do respect ideas. I feel like at the end game, by the time you're in BFA and getting out, this goes for everybody. Everybody can do a high level of drawing and painting. But the thing that separates people is their ability to think clearly, have good ideas, and then put them down. I think you're doing all right on the idea side, and as you move through the program, you're going to step up and become, and you're going to get the chops to be better at the rendering and the drawing side. I appreciate your effort.
All right.
Booyaka.
Yeah, this next one. Oh man.
You guys
Don't
let it
reuse,
rip.
dude. Don't reuse your same drawing. So you have that second page. That it looks really nice, but this is your opportunity to put. Look at all this text on the third page. Holy crap! I can't even read. This is your opportunity on the third page just to show this character like in a close up doing something different and cooler. It's like I see these two drawings in B and C on page 2, but now page 3, it's like with all this filter carp that's going on in here, it's like get rid of all that text and show me that character rather than just copying and pasting that character in there. This is your leave behind. This is like, hey, thanks for coming and looking at my awesome art. I have this really cool stuff, and I have these great silhouettes, and my design is I have a solid sense of design. And the last page is like, oh, text, and copy and paste. It's like, that's your leave behind. This is the last thing that we're going to remember from you. And now here's your opportunity. Like, this is it. Blow up that Death Star, go to Iron Man's funeral, do something that's really going to shape it up,
Iron Man's funeral.
Spoilers, everyone.
Too soon.
Well, if you haven't seen it by now, you guys, I don't know, get out.
Highest grossing film of all time. If you haven't seen it by now,
get out of the sandbox. Okay, anyway, those are my thoughts. I mean, I like where she's going. It looks like I still think you could lean her back a little tiny bit as far as the weight goes on the feet. But I like the thing that really makes it start to work is look how big those hooves are. She's got really big hooves now, and so that's helping with where the weight is and stuff. I guess some of you guys call it hoofs. All right, I'm done.
Cool.
I think it's the second round. Looks pretty good. you look at the process, first silhouette, and then how you take that and add the details. The two little drawings of her cooking, I guess it shows her personality more, which really helps. So, like Jeff said, that third page with a lot of text that's really unnecessary. I would really take that page and do more of those sketches, because now I want to know who's this character is, what she likes, what she dislikes, more like that. So more of those sketches would inform us, about your character design. But looking pretty good.
Yeah, all I'm gonna say, I mean, I agree with them. I mean, the only thing I'm gonna say different is that I like that you took the crits that we gave you on week 1 and then brought them in and then really made them work for you on this one. So stuff like I remember having like the body of a sexy 20-year-old and then the kind of the head of an older woman, and now I think you've got those things in line and the design language is kind of working much better. So yeah, good job. Everything else they said. I like the Shrunken Heaven logo in the top right, man.
Oh,
All right. I think it's funny that you guys don't label your stuff, but you put the Shrunken Headman logo in there.
Hey, got to represent, dude. What's important?
That's pretty solid.
What's important, the job or where you're coming from?
There we go. Okay, are we on Team 5?
Team 5, yeah.
Team 5.
Oh my God, there's 7 teams. Oh, this only got 1.
This one only has 1.
I dig it. Oh, dude, look at the magic on that. Yeah, man. Go ahead, guys. Sorry, I didn't mean to exclaim.
You can exclaim all you want. There's only one person in here, so props to you for sticking through it.
Guys, I think the magic is friggin' sweet for the first time. I think someone for the first time is exploring magic, and it's a D&D thing. It's high magic, high fantasy. I think it's refreshing in general to see the magic and see the magic designed as well. Like, these are characters that are doing stuff like adventurers, magicians, fighters, rogues, monks, whatever. And like, they do shit. They're heroic. Part of what you guys are doing is designing an adventure team. And they're the superheroes, right? I mean, they're superheroes. So we're finally starting to get that. I like the one on the left. I don't love the pose. It's super nonchalant. I feel like the magic should be maybe twice as insane if the pose is going to be that nonchalant. Otherwise, I think you can kind of get into the pose a little bit, but you're getting into the pose on the bottom. Like, I think if you took the body from there's no fucking number. If you took the body from the one on the left, but then took the top half of the torso from that bottom piece and stuck that on the top of the body, then you would have the rest of the form, and then also have those arms really stretched out. You'd have fingers show energy, right? Like bossy spirit fingers, and you're pulling the form apart. You're passing the pencil test, and you're getting the magic in. So that bottom one so on the top page, the bottom left drawing, meld that with the left drawing, and then also put some damn letters or identifiers on there, so I don't have to keep on talking about it like that. All right, is she missing an arm? Arm amputated. All right, yeah. What'd be interesting? Like, dude, tie a fake hand to it, like a stuffed hand to the bottom of that or something. I don't know. I'm done. You guys can finish. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, Stacy. Do you want to go? You go, Stacy.
Go ahead.
Oh, me? Oh, it's my turn. Oh, let's see. I agree with Owen. That's the most mundane pose you could ever possibly come up with. It's like, dude, I'm going to come up with this magic wielding, one-armed thing that's doing all this, and then the pose is like. So, Owen's right. Just take the top part. I mean, dude, that one is so awesome. This one down here that's not labeled, curse you. It's not labeled, but the one on the on the bottom row on the left-hand side, it's like, whoa, that's starting to say everything you need to say. Absolutely put it on to the other drawing, but make sure that right leg is kicked back to be able to get that body to have that huge arc. Don't kill your don't kill our impression by giving us a shitty pose. Okay,
it's not super uncommon to do that, to like have like 3 really good pushed exploration poses and then pick the worst one.
Yeah,
like because you're just playing it safe and you're nervous, but don't.
Yeah,
sorry, Jeff.
You know what I think what we're trying to say here is these are great. They look really cool, but the one that you chose doesn't have the attitude that you're trying to convey. So I think that's what I shouldn't call it shitty. I'm sorry. That was terrible of me. I'm such a person. I did. Shut up.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I agree. Pick the stronger, pose. It's just gonna sell your design, much easier. For the longest time, I didn't even see the missing arm, until Owen, pointed out. So, make sure, you make it obvious, what the character should look like. And one more thing is the face. It depends on which angle that you're drawing it. I was not sure the nostrils. At first, I thought maybe those were the eyes. And then now you cannot unsee it.
Yeah, darn it. Now
so it's just a little bit confusing. Especially the drawing on the right, furthest right. It feels like there was a really small eyes with the mouth, and so that's just a tiny thing. Another thing is it's okay that we're sticking with drawing with just solid black and gray values. But I think you can play with the line weight more, because
good point.
Yeah, it would help with your readability. So if I squint my eyes, it's just either white shapes, black shapes, some gray. That's it. Really, really use your lines. It would help.
Yeah, if you guys want help with line weight, look at Muka. I know it's like the most beaten dead horse, but look at Muka. Look what Muka was getting out of line weight.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, who doesn't look at Muka already? Like, that was the dumbest thing I could have possibly said.
Who's Muka?
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. You want a venti Muka.
Oh, I get it. Jokes.
Well, now I'm just thinking of Alphonse Muka just popping out of my cup of coffee.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny, man.
That'd be really awesome. All right, Team 6. I'm assuming that we're going to combine Team 5 and Team 6 now. Is that what we're going to do? I highly recommend that.
My dumb maid funny.
What? You are funny, but looks aren't everything.
Oh, that was brutal.
Okay. Well, it's another one.
You hit me in my childhood. 65 years old, man. That's what I'm gonna start. You guys take it over.
Yeah, I was gonna say exactly the same thing. You just took all the wins, all out of my sails, just right there. Doesn't look
Although
like
a tiefling's like a kind of elf, and like they might live to 1,000, so 65 is like a baby. But
yeah, then
where's the
like
crib?
baby, right?
The age is supposed to be proportional to human lifespan, so 65 means he should look like a 65-year-old human,
like a 650-year-old tiefling.
Exactly.
Okay, so
tieflings only live up to like human lifespan, so it should be about the same.
I'm pretty sure tiefling live to roughly human lifespan.
I don't know about tieflings actually. That's like some 5th edition shit that I didn't.
That sounds like something you get at a coffee shop too. A tiefling. I like a tiefling.
A tiefling. Okay.
I like a Luca tiefling.
I think we're beating the drum here on the age and that kind of stuff, and being and kind of making sure that you're getting down what the project or what the client demands of you. When we got instead of telling you a crit, I will tell you this really fast. After telling you guys, tell the story and then do what the client tells you to do all the time last week, I went and then did a painting for a book company this week and then turned it in this morning, and I did not. It was an elf. It was for some D&D stuff, and for a D&D book, and They wanted the elf to have blown off fingers because he's an apothecary and making bombs. And I was like, I'm gonna try and not throw the blown up fingers in there because I can make a better gesture if I can use the fingers in my gesture. And you know what they told me when I submitted it? The first thing, we wanted blown up fingers. Where are the blown up fingers? And I was like, God damn it! I just fucking told these students for 3 hours last week to do everything the person tells you, even if you don't like it, and make it work and make it read. And I didn't do it. And then automatically, the very first thing that my art director told me was, where is this? And that's a completely embarrassing position you don't ever want to find yourself in. So I would make sure that you guys are hitting all those points before you move on and then fulfill what you want to see from the work. All right, go ahead, you guys.
I've nothing.
I'll
I've
try.
nothing. Yeah, I think we all have experiences like that. We designed a character that was named Scooter for Pfizer, and he had 4 fingers, and it's Pfizer, a pharmaceutical firm, and they said, "Oh no, how come he doesn't have 5 fingers?" So we had to go back and reanimate everything. It was really annoying. Yeah, I want him to be 65. Why is he in an underwear? Why is it important for us to see his underwear?
I kind of dug that.
I mean, okay.
I don't know why, but I mean, like, I kind of dug it.
Okay, so then this is another example of going into life drawing with your eyes closed. It's like, look at all this cool reference that's up here, and I don't know why we're getting the reference, but now he's naked. I mean, what's the point? Is that really important? So I don't know. To me it just seems like if you want to draw people who are naked or in their underwear, then do it for yourself. Right?
Hey-o.
I don't. It doesn't say anywhere that they wear underwear, right? It's like, oh look, I'm wearing my Hanes briefs, right? So anyway, I like it. I think the one thing that I like that's really working is I like this rosebud tail on. Oh look, it's not numbered, but on the second page, the green one in the underwear. I really dig his tail. I think that tail is awesome. I hope he has a big hole in his underwear so his tail can come out. But I those are the things I think about. Like right when he has the other costume on, it's like I don't really have to worry about so much where his tail is coming from. But when he's in his underwear, it's like he better have a big freaking hole in his underwear so he can pull up his tail through there. But anyway, I do like how you rendered the tail. I think that's cool.
Looks like this person put a lot of thought into this. Anatomy, if you draw a figure, this is pretty straightforward. Really look at your reference. Again, I'm not sure why the underwear either. So if it's just you want to show the body, then just show the body. That's okay. You don't have to just put the underwear or censor it. Look at the little call outs, the scars on the back from lashings. Again, without the description, I wouldn't be able to tell, those are scars. So if you want to really add that, really show, with your drawings, that's very important. So I think overall, I can see the thoughts, but the execution could be better. So look at reference.
Booyaka.
Okay.
That's all you got? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Owen has spoken.
No, I gave you guys an anecdote in the very beginning.
Oh, right.
First.
Okay, good. Thank you for saving us.
I like how you didn't listen to my special story.
No, I listened to your story, but then it didn't feel like there was anything constructive post story about the character itself. But no, I thought that was really good. Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to comment on the height chart because I hope whoever's in charge of this, I think it's Avery, but I wouldn't know because she never sends me emails. That you're going to combine Team 5 and Team 6. I hope you guys do that.
If you don't combine them, Jeff's going to be upset till next year.
All right, Team 5 and Team 6, combine yourselves.
Yeah. Whoa, that sounds really dirty.
They've rolled different themes.
Get to know each other first, take each other out for a few drinks or something like that.
I was going to say, at least get the dinner, man, please.
Yeah, go for the dinner, maybe a movie.
Okay, god damn it. All right.
Teams do have different themes, but I do have to say, every Party Banter participant, if you have found yourself in a team with, either no one or you're like very few people left, don't be afraid to go to the other teams and ask for help.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, please.
Yeah.
You guys are shrunken headmen. Go band together.
Yeah.
And make
It's
yourself strong.
party bander.
Also,
Even
if
if
you
there's-
guys are in different teams, feel free to just like, if someone is asking for crits, you can crit them too, even if you're not on their team. Just saying.
Yeah.
If you
And-
find a team with less people, make fun of that. Make fun of the last person that's remaining, and treat them terribly. And say, the spirit of come on, guys, we know how to do this. You guys know how to do this. You guys are friends. Go be friends.
If there's no one else on your team, go and ask the other people who are working on your character.
Yeah.
That's a good one, because
Yeah.
you're still dealing with similar design problems.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I mean, come on. When it comes down to it, I mean, if you combine those two, just look at those two from Team 5 and Team 6. Even though technically the concept is a little bit different, they still could kind of work. I mean, other than the underwear part, I think they could kind of work. I don't know why you guys can't just like, hey, I'm on Team 5, I'm on Team 6. Let's join together. Okay. My thoughts. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
Sorry, I have to go. I mentioned to Jack that I have to leave a little bit early today. So I'm gonna miss the last poster. Sorry about
Aww.
That's
Stacey,
all right.
good,
Yeah.
good to have you, Stacey.
Good. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you for critting us, Stacy.
Ladies and gentlemen,
that.
big applause for Stacy.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Wait, I'm glad she's gone. All right, Team 7. Team 7. Wow, it's 10:42, guys. We're almost home.
Yeah, we've been moving pretty fast. We're getting better at this.
It helps when there's only one person who's submitting per team.
Also, the work is just better. Like,
The work
you guys
is really good.
You guys literally brought it. Really made a really nice, appreciable step. It's nice.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, agreed. All right, falami. That's like something that goes in a sandwich, right? Falami. I want you to, okay, 44. At least it looks 44, but the pose doesn't say anything at all. On number 3, at least it's starting to get there, but there's still not a whole lot of silhouette. I'm not quite sure what he's carrying. Is it like a cupcake or is it a purse? I'm not quite sure. I think the bread is really cool. This is one of those ones where it feels like it got rendered before it got figured out. And I want you to figure out, tell me what that pose is about. They're charity wrath, they're trigger happy, they always roll ones, are they sad? He looks like he's pissed off at bread. He's like, bread. So I kind of want you to, I want you to like find a pose that you think is gonna tell me the most about the story. On the plus side, I think this is kind of fun, kids booky kind of stuff, which is sort of where I'm from, and so I kind of like that language that you're trying to submit, but I'm not quite sure if this is just a moment in time when he was like, oh, I was hoping for a cheesecake and all I got was this stupid roll of bread, or if this is his attitude all the time.
Funny.
So I think that's what I want to see. I want to see you just find a pose that actually describes it. These other two, where his hand is up and stuff, that could be anybody. That could be an old lady mowing her lawn in the rain. It could be, it could be Owen. It could be me in a dress. So I want to find. I want you to keep exploring and see where that pose is going to end up and get place.
This is for this person and for everybody. Keep exploring, but remember next week you gotta have a finished rendering. So I mean, like, you gotta give yourself a day of exploration and then move it on. So just to keep that in context, like at some point, guys, you need to jump off the cliff here, and that's the worst metaphor I've ever made. At some point, you need to pick one and commit, and that's where you're at. So, I mean, you don't have a lot of time here for exploration. You just got to turn in the work, right, Jeff?
Yeah, I agree. But at the same time, it's like come up with a pose that says that character. I mean, I think that one on the right, which isn't labeled as usual, but actually it is. My bad. With number 3, you know, it feels like that's kind of fun. I like where it's going, but it doesn't. The pose isn't solid. So give me a solid pose, and then we're off and we're done, right?
I agree with Jeff. I mean, on everything. The only thing I wanted to add was that idea that guys, it's time to commit and get off the pot.
It's Cliff time. All right.
Was Cliff the next one?
But no, it's
oh
yes,
fuck,
it is
man.
actually Radcliffe. That's pretty good. That was the best segue of the night.
Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen,
shit.
Owen. All right. You know, I like this, but I think I don't know what that arky thing that with the lightning. I guess that's magic.
Magic.
I don't know if that's magic or like something dangerous or an airplane or something that's flying behind him. So, you know, I like the pose. I like, you know, that there's this beefy person. But I think the thing I like the best is look at that. It gets into this close up, but I'm not quite sure if we've made a decision yet. Oh, so we haven't made a decision. The horns are in different places and stuff. So yeah, just make a decision. I kind of like that the big horns are, you know, roll, but how come they're pointing out? I mean, if it's really a ram's horn, it should curl back. It'll give it a different kind of look. So for me, I don't know about horns that just come and point out. There are a couple sheep that do have horns that look like that, but then how come she doesn't have a thicker neck or that kind of stuff? I want to see that. So,
Oh shit! You know, a thicker neck might not be bad for this one. I really the one thing that jumps out at me that I like about this one is that bigger, thicker body and going there and I think you should go and push that neck for sure. And I think that Jeff's made a good point. And I think if we're talking about size, I mean shape and size language and stuff, shape language, take whatever horns you go with, make them bigger, like really push them, and then make the neck justify it. You can look at
Hellboy
stills from Hellboy, but what's the classic one? Tim Curry as the devil.
Oh,
Legend.
Legend.
The movie Legend from 1985. Oh my god, I'm getting in trouble because I'm talking too loud.
Yeah.
The movie Legend from 1985. Look up Tim Curry as the devil. Like check out the neck.
Tom Cruise's first movie. No, second movie.
No, he had Taps was his first movie, right?
I think so.
I know everything about Tom Cruise.
I care not to know anything about Tom Cruise.
I dated Tom Cruise.
Did you? You lucky man.
Fuck yeah, man.
Work on your
guys,
magic, though.
Yeah, I think you should work on the magic. So intention's a big deal here. So it's got to look intentional. Like when we opened up, Jeff, who doesn't know what it is, said, "Oh, what is that? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is." You're like, "What is this thing?" "Oh, I guess it's magic." Like you want when someone gets their first look, it's really valuable that Jeff did that for you because you want when someone opens it up and they get their first look, you want them to know it's magic. And so that's a good opportunity. And Jeff's kind of trying to groping to figure out what that was really valuable for you. As far as the staff goes, look, this is the other thing I've got the big thing to say about. A, B, and C has the same staff. And you look at the staffs on page 2, man, A through H. Every single one of those staffs is completely 100% more interesting than the one you chose. Actually, D is the one you chose. So you chose the kind of softest one out of the group. I think you can go back and pick a better one like H. Just think about how much dynamic H would add or change. Actually, it would conflict with the magic a little bit. So, you know, maybe going into F, G, or B, although B gets a little close to Celtic crosses. You can put the bayonet from A onto any of the other ones. So really, I think you're looking at F, G, and B, and keep it exciting, man. Like think about that silhouette. Keep that silhouette going.
What's the value of the staff too? I mean, do they use the staff?
They're not using it for magic here, right?
Because because it's behind them. I mean, it kind of nullifies the entire value of having a staff in the first place. I know you didn't want to have the staff cross in front of them because somehow it's going to hide behind a little thin staff, but it looks really weird. I guarantee you there's going to be some producer who's going to be like, so the staff, I'm not sure it works behind them. You're like, no, I'm just trying to show the person with the staff. I'm like, shouldn't the staff be like important, like they put their weight on the staff or something, because they're going to think in terms of like dollar signs. They're like, how much money do we have to pay for the staff? But the staff isn't really doing anything. You're like, look, just shut up. It's the staff. So give it purpose. That's what it is.
So the staff is not doing the magic or or holding the weight. It's not doing any of the things that staffs normally do. So
yeah,
that's a good point. All right. So also one last thing, man. Don't hide the upstage arm. Do something with the arm. That arm could be coming out, and you can have the hand spread with the fingers open, giving a really awesome composition. And the magic could be emanating from the fingers. You know, like just don't hide it. You don't need to get rid of a limb. And I don't think that you are. You draw well enough to not be hiding it. But so then I guess the word is feature it. Is it fucking amputee? Okay. Never mind.
Yeah,
then you got to feature that thing so that we can read it right off the bat. You're turning a major feature upstage, and we can't see it or read it. Okay.
Look at all that stuff that's coming out about amputees who, through the magic of 3D printing, are getting these arms that are made, and how much their lives are getting made better and stuff. And you would never hear anything about those guys if it was like 10 years ago, because prosthetics were so lame, really, back then. So now we have these people who are doing these really amazing things with prosthetics. So at the same time, here you are suggesting that there's this person who's an amputee, but yeah, it does feel like, they're in this 3/4 pose and you're kind of hiding that part. It is on the third page, but it almost feels like it needs more, like that. Like I think we could have a little bit of shoulder and a little bit of arm or something, just to say, hey, look, this person does have this I don't want to call it deformity, but they have this challenge, and but they're overcoming that challenge, and that kind of stuff. It does feel like it's like you're putting a cap on it. It's like, oh yeah, I'm sort of missing an arm, but you won't notice that because my other arm is stuck out so far. So
maybe she's using magic to conjure up another arm,
I
like a really big weird magic one or something.
I don't remember if that was the same one, but I remember there was someone that had like multiple arms that were magically floating around the body. I don't remember if that's the same.
It could be like as big as the body, man. I mean, it could be like big and overcompensating and weird and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, whatever. We're not supposed to tell you what to do.
Yeah, we're not supposed to tell you what to do. All right. Next up, look at all this text. I like that he's older. I think you're heading the right direction. I don't know about the chains. The chains really feel tacked on. I don't know if you guys need to show that. I mean, it's kind of hard to think. Why not on his wrists or something, and he's like dragging it around, or just one chain that's attached to a ball or something. It doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of thought that's going in the chain. So I begin to wonder if it's really necessary to show that. It seems like everybody's having a hard time with that. But look as person with the staff before, look at least this staff feels like it has some sense of purpose. I like that there's two things that are tied together, that kind of stuff. It doesn't feel like he's have his weight on it just yet. But I feel like this is, it's going the right direction. I think those legs need some help. Right? Go look at actual goats. Okay. With two toes on there. This is a goat. So yeah, go look at how the legs work. And this looks like he has fuzzy pants on with like two-toe or shoes, like sort of Japanese style. That sock with the sandal kind of shoe. Owen, take it.
Yeah, I'm gonna give a general crit for everybody that's doing this character with the chains. If anybody's left, I don't even know if anybody's left or listening anymore. But you can't tell, man. So
we've still got 12 people watching.
Okay, so anybody, if you 12 are doing the chains, and
how many do we start with?
If you other faithfuls are still
like 18.
Here, that's fair, I guess.
Well, sorry for boring you guys.
So,
I think they just left after after you critted theirs. They're just like, well, I don't need to watch anyone else's.
Oh man, there's all these great nuggets.
That's how it goes, man.
Yeah, but you 12 who are still watching, you're the real
you're the
ones.
faithful. You're the shrunken-headed faithful.
All right.
So
go ahead.
so
Nolan, I'm
look,
sorry.
I had to do a character a couple years ago that was using shackles, and I'm just not getting the feeling that, like the prosthetic people, anybody's looking at good reference, man. And reference. So we talk about ideas as being the thing that separates designers from designers, and how do you get good ideas? Like, you can't just have all that shit in your head. It comes from your search for reference. And if I believed that anybody looked at reference of shackles, then I think we would see something different. But the fact that everybody has the exact same bar on their ankle with the exact same length chain makes me feel like you guys are drawing the idea of shackles rather than the authenticity of shackles. I think just in this country, we had slavery, and in the time that we had photography, you can go back and look at what this stuff really looked like. You can also look at prisoners, you can look at slaves, you can look at prisoners of war, you can look at prisoners from different states. And there are so many different shackles and restraint systems. I had to research this not that long ago, a year or two ago, and put it into a character. Like, your ideas that you can get, or the language that you can get from doing just a little bit of research, is incredible. And then all of a sudden, you guys can design something that's really meaningful and interesting and authentic at the same time. So like, Jeff is reacting to this like it's like, it's just shackles just aren't working. Like, from a design point, no, it just looks like two ankle cuffs and the exact same length chain. Like, you can get crazy stuff out there, man. Like, there's so many different pictures, and if you just do a Google search, you'll get so much awesome information. And later on at the higher levels, doing a Google search is not enough, because all the best people, or at least the mediocre people, will do the Google search. You never want to design straight out of your head. You want to back everything up with reference. It really does matter. Like, reference is not a mysterious concept. It is a difficult concept. So, yeah, I mean, like, I like this drawing. I hate the shackles, obviously. I like the drawing. I think there's something really cool, some Yoshitaka Amano kind of feeling from the drawing. The goat legs need help and the shackles need help. I think you fix those things, you're going to have something that's much more intriguing than what you've got. Booyaka. So that was for everybody and for just you.
Yeah. I'm not seeing the Kari Nippon. I'm just, whoops, there was a problem viewing this document.
I'm also getting that. So
okay, so we'll just
the
move
person
on?
We'll just move on.
The student who
Just
worked
ignore
on
the person.
Kara, Team 7, your PDF isn't working, so please
I have a feeling it's because the file is too big.
probably. Well, no, it says 1 megabyte.
Yeah,
We've opened 9 megabyte, 28 megabyte files.
Yeah, I think it was just saved incorrectly. We'll just move on.
Yeah.
We'll just move on.
Your mom's the 28 megabit file.
Always test your submissions to make sure they're not glitched out, everyone.
Yeah.
Also, I want to point out that as soon as that time, immediately after I said, "Oh, we've still got 12 people watching," one person left the stream.
Oh, screw you.
So, wow.
Forget you. I hope you burn.
Oh my god.
All right. That's cool. I didn't want to look at your work anyway. I hope I haven't looked at it. Anyway, we're looking at, this was the one that was really cool last week. That was like, it had a sacrum in there. And I don't like A. It doesn't feel like it's this, it doesn't feel like what it was last week. And I mean, I guess B is okay, but now it's, I don't know, there was something about that image that you created last week, and I really loved it, and I thought that was so cool and interesting. And then there was also that pelvis one. There was like a whole pelvis, and there was all this really cool stuff going on. I guess I like this, but now that it's just a sacrum, and it's not even a human sacrum, it feels like it's what is that? It'll come to me as a 4. Anyway, it's some kind of canid. Like, is this just slime mold or something that's coming off of it or something? I guess I liked it better in the silhouette when it kind of suggested that it was a sacrum, but now that I'm seeing its actual sacrum, and it has like 2 mushrooms on the top that look like spoons, and then there's some feathers attached to it and stuff. I guess I don't like it as much. I know you're like, oh my God, roll my eyes. I worked so hard on this. But I don't know. It sort of feels like you know, when you walk into a haunted house and everything's all dark and it's super creepy, and then they turn the lights on, and it's all fluorescent lights and stuff. It sort of feels like that now. It's like, okay, now that the light's being shown on it, it's just a sacrum, and there's this green goopy stuff that's coming out. It's kind of the legs and that kind of stuff. And I wonder if I don't have a suggestion to make it. I don't know, to make it less look like a sacrum with green stuff on it and that kind of stuff. But I wish that there was more thought that was put into the actual, like, what's happening with it and that kind of stuff. But B, not A. I think I lost Owen. So anyway, that's what I'm thinking on that one.
What do you mean you lost me? Like,
Oh, well, you were just so quiet. I don't know.
Well, I was giving you the respect of
Okay.
your August opinion, man.
I thought for sure you'd interject or something. No, Jeff, I actually like it.
Well, to be honest, I don't know how to say this, but I do like A better. And I like the weirdness of B, but at this point, if I'm thinking like what's gonna make a portfolio spread for next week, I think that A is probably the way. And I'd look, if you really wanna get in the weeds, man, I would take that butt bone and maybe put it into the back like a abdomen for a spider, and so you could combine that with and have it put in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wouldn't be the head, the thorax, it'd be the abdomen. So it'd be like pushing off the back. The one thing about A that I don't like is just that the cross is so visible. So like, is the idea that it's got a primary, secondary form, and the first form is a cross, so you like kneel down to pray to it, like it's a headstone. But as soon as you get down to pray, it like animates and becomes a crab and like scurries off or attacks you. You know, like, I don't know what it's doing. And that might be its like 2-part mission, you know. So I think there was one with a skull earlier, and like you might pull the skull in, or like, I don't know, man. But I mean, I think if you're going for something that's going to be an open shut success, I think A is the one, personally. So now you have a tougher decision because, you know, 2 people gave you 2 totally conflicting things, but you know, I think you're far enough along that you can push some of that design. Don't get stuck just here. Push it for a day before you decide to sit down and pick what you're going to do.
Yeah. I guess how many times have I seen like skeleton arms that like crawl around and stuff? I mean, that's very true. I guess I like B because it's so unusual. It's like, you know, I don't know if you guys played StarCraft, but StarCraft was a video game that came out some time ago, and the Terrans, their fighter ships were actually whale bones that were turned upside down. They were whale vertebra, and I always thought that was like the coolest thing. And I even had a class. I taught my class, and they had to design characters and spaceships and stuff. And I didn't let them use any kind of formalized spaceship reference. They had to bring in found objects and stuff. And some people brought in. So one guy he had photos of a giraffe skull, and he made the most awesome spaceship out of this giraffe skull. And if you were to look at it, you're like, wow, I didn't know that's a giraffe skull. But as soon as you flip the giraffe skull upside down, you're like, holy shit, that's a giraffe skull. So I guess that's why I'm drawn to B, because it's like, where else have we seen a monster that's been made from a sacrum? I guess I really like that.
You know, I think you've convinced me, man. I mean, just the very fact that I've seen A before 2,000 times in my life, and I've never seen B before, is enough for me. But you got to get in there and make that thing dynamic too.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I agree with Jeff. That's a great point, Jeff.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next, naked mole rats.
On to our last crit of the night.
This is the last crit of the night. Oh,
Jeff, I'm gonna let you roll with this one.
Okay. Okay. So I know it's a naked mole rat, and you know, it's technically those are marsupials and they're not even rodents. But I want this to go somewhere. It just feels like it's sort of hacked up, and I'm still not quite sure what the that vase is. Is there vase or something? There's a lot of stuff to read.
That's a Theraball from the Catholic Mass.
Oh, well, if it was incorporated more, maybe it was in his teeth, like he has to pick it up with his teeth to drag it around or something. I don't know. it feels like again, this is like the tip of the iceberg. It feels like there's so much more that you could push this with, but I know that next week is the last showing of the work and stuff. But I feel like you're holding back. Like, I don't know, like you're playing cards with me, and I'm winning, and you're sitting there and you're like showing me your naked mole rat, and meanwhile you have like 4 aces and 4 kings and like basically all the cards, and you're gonna put them all down and like blow me away. But I'm not seeing that yet. I want to spend more, like if you can incorporate the skeleton more into the animal, so like the flesh is dripping off of it so we can see the skeleton, and then that vase is incorporated a little bit more rather than just being dragged behind, tacked onto the spine and that kind of stuff. Here, look at those. This is the same kind of hand designed as the one that we just saw, and it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah. Then he has these paws, and so I guess I what the heck is going on? I don't know. I want to see a little bit more. It doesn't feel like you're like, I guess the time to explore is over, but it seems, like if I was your art director, I would be a little disappointed that this is what we got at this point.
All right, look, I'm gonna hop in if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I think this artist picked this one because I said this was the most interesting one last week, and I still think that this is the most interesting one. But I did talk about how you incorporated the monster creature with the Therabold was going to be important, and I think what's happening is that you didn't push that incorporation as hard as possible, and Jeff is having an unfavorable reaction to it. And I agree with everything Jeff's saying. I think you don't need to redesign this thing. Well, I mean, you need to redesign this thing in the sense that you need to make that relationship meaningful. It's right now it's like a Therabold got wrapped around this thing and it died, and for some reason it's still dragging it around. But dude, this thing could be living in the Therabold like it's a hermit crab. And what Jeff's saying, like its viscera could be coming out. You could be playing with that shape language, and the Therabold has a lid. Like, do something with the lid, wrap that chain around it, like a thing got wrapped around and then died from constriction or something. Like really, you've got to make these things relate to each other and matter. Because right now it's just that Therabold could be a flashlight or any other object, right? Like it's not special because it's that censure, like with the smoke. So you've got to figure out a reason why that smoke is important, why that thing is important. Also, I'm going to help you right now. Just look at crocodile front feet. It's 4 legs for reference for the hands that you're trying to draw. And I think that's going to get you very close to kind of what you're depicting in terms of reference. All right, cool, man. Guys, are there any questions really quick? Or
yeah,
last questions. Now's the time to ask them. Anyone still listening?
I think we lost him with that last crit.
You would tell us if everyone left, right?
Yeah, we would tell you. No, we've still got plenty of people around. If anyone has any last questions, you can ask them either in the Discord or in the Twitch chat.
You guys are damn shrunken headman. You better have a question.
Yeah.
Come on, man. We all came from the same school here. Come on. All right. No questions. That's fine.
The only thing we've gotten is just someone posting the emoji of we made of you dabbing 3 times.
Yeah, good. Okay.
I guess this is a question for me. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go.
So for next crit, we're going to have character sheets.
Okay.
For you guys to crit. What are some pointers on like what things to look out for, to do or not to do for?
I'd look up what other people have done, and no matter what you do, I would not guess. I would look for intention. So make it look intentional. Remember, there's always that idea that if you care, we'll care. So if it looks like you're really trying, like Sarah said several times, she's like, oh, you could tell how much thought this person put into this. Like, they were very thoughtful with this. Like, I loved hearing that, because I tell all my students, if you care, we'll care. and I've never talked to her in my life, but it was really awesome to hear her say several times, "Oh, like, you can really tell how much thought they put into this," and because that's her saying that she can see the caring and the work, and so like you really can't get it wrong if you care about it. Now, if you want to really min max and get it as good as possible, look at work from your favorite studios and do what they're doing. But generally speaking, create a layout that's really clear and concise and is not cluttered. We kind of talked about that on that one that was all pink with the fallopian tubes.
Yeah. Okay, so then another way to think of it is when you're coming up with like model sheets, and this was something that's really important when I was working at a place called Vis-a-Vis. We sent a bunch of stuff to Vietnam, and we thought we did a really good job of labeling our stuff. I mean, like telling, doing what Owen said, showing and not telling and stuff. And then we had this expectation that the model sheets that we sent were going to come back, and we were going to have like this stuff that was going to look just like our model sheets. But what in turn we got was they had no idea what they needed to do, and they created their own kind of thing. What you need to do is if you're going to have a person who needs to go out and rake a yard, you have to give them a rake. You can't give them a spoon because they're not going to know what to do with it. So for what we need as far as animation goes, is like if you're going to show that character lifting, or if they're pushing or shooting magic from their fingers or something like that, we need to see poses that convey that. It's not just that person standing there. They need to be in these poses that are active, that we understand, because otherwise we can't use those poses. So if you're doing a turnaround, you'll often see a character that's just turned, which is fine. But in other words, they're just standing in a whether it's a 3-point turn or it's a T pose or they're just standing there. There's no weight, there's no action. That sometimes works well with a turnaround, but for what I need is I would need a turnaround that conveys that character's presence. So I always refer people to the to turnarounds that have, like Kita from Atlantis. It's, she's bending over, she's holding this spear, she's active in all that turnaround, and so it's really obvious that this is a strong character who has this weapon and that kind of stuff. So make sure when you're building your stuff, your turnaround can have a sedate pose, but then it makes sure that it's inundated with other poses that say, oh, look at what this character can do, and that kind of stuff. When I say inundated, I also don't mean like cluttered. Like 5 poses or less per page is usually the best way to go. Something that's very clear. But every pose that's in there should be a pose that you expect that character to use, and it should convey their character.
Awesome.
That's it.
All right, that's it, guys.
Well, if that's it, then thank you again so much for critting us. Like always, we appreciate it so much.
Mm-hmm.
And as
work
for
was good
all
this week, guys.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm genuinely impressed with everything that everyone's turned in. I think it's looking really good.
Yeah,
I think it's looking great.
Stuck with it is really impressive.
Guys,
so
finish
on for the final.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm done. Go on.
I'm having feedback issues. I didn't mean to talk over you.
No,
I'll say this, man, and I think it's a really dangerous thing to say, but don't get big heads. But if you guys finish as strong as you've exhibited the last weeks, so if you fucking bring it for this last one, this is going to be the best year that we've ever had. So you have a lot of pressure right now, and live up to it, man. I mean, it's worth it. You guys are kicking ass this year more than I think that we've seen in the past. So do it. Finish strong.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
So yeah, you too. So for all of my party banters still in the Twitch, we are going to go over our expectations and more examples and what to do for the next crit tomorrow night. So I will see you there.
Yeah.
Have a good one, guys.
You too.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
See you next week.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Are we stopping the stream?
Yep.
All right. This is
So
a good
long. Again,
See-
this will be posted on YouTube
soon.
soon.
Right?
Yeah. No, yeah. As soon as it ends, I'm gonna start exporting.
All right, awesome. Yeah. So we're gonna work on that. And then for tomorrow night, about when will that be? Just for anyone else who's watching right now.
When will it be? What time did we do last time?
I think it was like, I don't remember which one was the one that we did and which one was the one that I just did right before the last one. I think it was 9 or 10. I know when winter figure drawing gets out tomorrow.
Mhm.
I think figure drawing ends at like 4 tomorrow, so I should be good.
Okay, yeah. We'll figure that out. We'll look at our schedules and yeah, we'll make an announcement.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see everyone who's still listening. We'll be there tomorrow, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. So goodbye.
Bye-bye.